Hi Aquarius, and welcome to your eclipse season tarot forecast. This is going to cover the time period of July 13th through August 11th, 2018. And Aquarius, this is a big deal for you guys this eclipse season because the main event is happening in your sign, and it's actually a very rare and special full lunar eclipse. So on July 13th, we are going to have a new moon in Cancer, which is going to be a partial solar eclipse. The next part of eclipse season is your full moon on July 27th, and like I said, this is the longest eclipse, full lunar eclipse in the last century. It's going to be an hour and 23 minutes, so 1, 2, 3. I love that synchronicity right there. It's going to be very powerful for you guys, and full moons are usually about like a manifestation of some kind. So I feel like Aquarius is going to receive something good, but you know, we'll just have to pull the cards and see how everything comes out. And then lastly, we're going to end eclipse season with the Leo full moon on August 11th. So think back to January and February, what was going on in your life then, because that was the beginning of this eclipse cycle. And it happened in your new moon, and now you're having that eclipse happen in your full moon. Okay, so I will tell you this, and then I'll begin the reading. I would highly recommend you do a Google search to look at like the last several years of, you know, the eclipses and see what signs the eclipses were happening in, because 2012 was a very significant year of big changes for me. And that particular year, the eclipses were happening in my moon sign of Sagittarius. Well, also the person I was dating back then, my long-term relationship, the eclipses were happening in his moon sign of Gemini. So Sagittarius and Gemini were quite affected by those eclipses back in 2012, and that's actually when our relationship ended. Took us 3.5 years to fully break up, but that's a whole nother story, which brings me to 2016 when the eclipses were happening in my sun sign of Pisces. And at the beginning of the year, I finally said, you know, 3.5 years of breaking up is just too damn toxic. Like, here's an ultimatum. And so he chose to be gone instead of, you know, being in all the way. Well, by the end of eclipse season, which comes in July, August, that's when he came back into my life. So that happened in the year that the eclipses were taking place in my sun sign. So beginning of the year, eclipsed out with my new moon, and at the end of eclipse season, he eclipsed back in with my full moon. Okay, so that's just an example. It doesn't have to be about relationships for everybody. I just really want you guys to understand, like, this is powerful energy. And you know, back when I was young, I used to recognize, I don't know, the January, February eclipses don't really rattle my cage too much. It's the ones in like July, August that get me. And back in the day, I used to be like, God, every freaking July, August, life just gets weird. Weird things happen, big changes come, you know, and now I understand why. So I'm telling you, Aquarius, do a Google search and just see in the years past when the eclipses were happening in your sign, and think about your sign or your moon sign, and think about what was going on in your life, and you will start seeing the connections. It's almost spooky. Okay, and here we are in the midst of retrograde season as well, so I just feel like this is going to be a very powerful eclipse season, especially for Aquarius, since this is the most powerful eclipse we've had in the last century, and it's happening on your full moon, Aquarius. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a card for each eclipse that's happening, Cancer new moon, Aquarius full moon, and then Leo new moon. I'm going to see which area of your life is going to be most impacted, okay? So we're starting with this Cancer new moon on the 13th of July, and your 10th house is going to be most impacted by this particular new moon eclipse. And interesting is the Saturn and Pluto are both retro in the 10th house, and I believe Mars just went retro in the house of Aquarius. So yeah, 10th house is your achievements, your career, your status in the outside world. So Aquarius, this right here is being affected by this Cancer new moon, and new moons are all about planting new seeds for manifestation, right? Whereas full moons are receiving the manifestation of past seeds that you've planted with new moon energy. So we're going to put Saturn here as a placeholder, as Saturn is the ruling planet of the 10th house, because you could get 10th house across the board, right? So let's see for your full moon, the longest lunar eclipse, total lunar eclipse in the last century. Aquarius, do you hear this? What house is being most affected for Aquarius? Oh my goodness. So this is the 4th house, your home and the roots of your being. You know, I'm surprised that the 1st house didn't come out. I was feeling like that, but this makes sense. Roots of your being. So this is the house ruled by Cancer. And we're having this new moon in Cancer right here, partial solar eclipse, but here's this full moon in Aquarius total lunar eclipse, and you have this Cancer 4th house energy showing up in that slot. So there's going to be a lot of changes to your home, to your family, and it could be like just our communication style with career and home here. This could be where you're like packing up shop, moving to another state, another country for work, or who you are with, who you are married to. It could be that that's what's going on for them, and so you're having to pack up your life. But the moon rules Cancer, which is the 4th house. So we will put that as a placeholder and see what this Leo new moon, a solar eclipse, is doing for you guys. Which house is most impacted for Aquarius? And look at this. We have the 5th house, which is the house of Leo. So, let me just put your houses back out here so I can see. 4th house and then 10th house. All right, so Aquarius, we don't have your 11th house out here, but 4th house, 5th house, Cancer, Leo. We're having a new moon in Cancer on the 13th of this month, and then the new moon in Leo on the 11th next month, which this popped right up for you guys. So any of you that have an Aquarius moon, Cancer moon, or Leo moon, especially this Leo moon, big changes for you guys. You're really going to feel the impact of this. So some of you, I feel like this is like new job, new romance, new home, a new home environment. This is because 5th house is like, you know, romance, dating, passion, sensuality, fun. Also, your creative talents and your artistic abilities are attached to that. So it's almost like some of you, there's new romance coming in. You might decide to take a creative idea or artistic ability and turn it into a career, which maybe you're going to start working from home. You're going to have a home-based business. Some of you are like going to get a new home. You're relocating. You might be starting a family, all right, with this fourth house being highlighted because this should be here. This is where the Cancer new moon is, but for you guys, it's more attached to your full moon. It's that fourth house energy. So let's pull some tarot here. All right, so you have the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. And you want to know what? Capricorn received these exact two cards in this exact position. They did not have the 10th house for here, but exactly the same. And now look at this. We have the Death card in reverse. We have the Six of Cups. Capricorn also received those. And then we have the Eight of Swords and the 10 of Swords. Yeah, Aquarius, big time changes for you guys. And now also I want to point out that Chiron is retrograde, and Chiron is the great healer. And so because of what I see with this fourth house, this being the Death card on this side, this is second chances. This is mending. This is something coming back together. And it's something that really matters to you with the Six of Cups. It's an emotional connection that really does matter. So it could be if you've been on the outs with a certain family member, this eclipse season is bringing the healing and bringing you guys back together, mending this relationship with the help of Chiron. Others of you, this could be a lover, okay, or a spouse where you guys are reconnecting. That's totally what I see here. This is like house, home. So whoever this person is represents this energy for you, okay? Some of you, if you've had a falling out with your own children or with your parents, this eclipse is bringing about the, you know, resurrection of that relationship. Now, over here in the 10th house, it's like some of you are just really worn out with your current career path or job. Like, you're just really tired, you're worn out. And if you do something for creative, maybe it's just like you've lost your creative ability as of late, all right? But with this Cancer new moon partial solar eclipse, we have new ideas and new opportunities showing up in regards to this 10th house energy, okay? And so that looks really good. Any struggle or stagnation, I feel like, is eclipsing out. What's eclipsing in is this new beginning, second chance with somebody. It could even be, you know, and look at that. As I'm saying that, look at what just flew out. The black cat, your luck will soon change. So yeah, definitely a reconnection for you guys. A family member, a lover, children, friends that you considered family, okay? But over here in this 5th house energy, I feel like some of you have been really holding back either in the dating area or allowing yourself to just be happy, be free when it comes to like romance and dating and passion, because we have the 8 of Swords here. We're really held back, and we have the 10 of Swords here. So something really hurts you guys, okay? Attached to this 5th house energy. Maybe if this is about creative ability or talent, you know, somebody really just shot you down and made you doubt yourself. And now that's why over here, because this is the 10 of Swords, we come over here, this is the Ace. Now you are reinvigorated with new ideas, new creativity. Others of you, this is about dating and romance, and you just were very jaded, and it's like this Leo new moon solar eclipse is opening you up to the idea and the possibility of romance once again. So let's pull a couple of cards from this deck to get more information. All right, so here in the 10th house, we have the dragon, which is strength and wisdom. All right, this guy right here, you know, he can indicate, you know, a couple of different things, but ultimately, this is letting you know that when it's regards to your career, whatever it may be, whether it's finding a new job because you're fried, starting a completely different career path because you're fried, if you're creative and let's just say like you're a writer and you've had nothing to write, there's these new ideas and you're going to be able to do it and handle it like a boss, okay? Some of you need to embody this dragon energy and perhaps claw your way to the top. You don't need to step on people, but if you've been really timid and held back, it's time, you know, where you finally start saying, no, this is what I can do and this is what I did, asserting yourself, being powerful, okay? So I see in this 10th house, this eclipse energy has the significance of great change, new opportunity. And with strength and wisdom, I feel like whatever this change is, it's like you are in a higher level position than ever before because you have the experience to hold it down, to, you know, to make it happen, to do what it takes. In this 4th house, we have seek wisdom and guidance from elders. So, yeah, you know, I will say this. Some of you, there may be somebody in the family that passes, and with this card coming out, it would be somebody who is very old, okay? Somebody who's lived a very long life. So it's not anybody where you're like a child or something like that, okay, or a spouse. This, to me, is more like somebody who is older, may have recently passed on or may transition during this eclipse season, because it is eclipse season, right? And if that's the case, if there's a family member that passes, what I feel is that's what's bringing everybody back together. That's the glue that brings the family back together, okay? So if there is somebody who passes in the family or has recently passed, and you know, family's trying to reach out to you and people are trying to come back together, open yourself up to that. Allow that in, okay? Because through their passing, they're gifting you and the family that ability to reconnect, okay? So for some of you, this is like we're reconnecting to extended family, or, you know, just certain members of the family, because somebody did pass, and now we're recognizing how precious life is, and you know, our arguments and disagreements, they're just not so significant. They don't matter so much anymore, okay? For others of you, I feel like this is where you're reconnecting more, not because anybody's passed, but more because like you've sought the advice of somebody, or it's like you're feeling it in your soul. You're just feeling this natural urge. Also with this could be where if it's you and like your spouse or whoever you're dating, where you guys are deciding, hey, let's create this idea, let's create our own business. And this is the guidance that, you know, comes in for you guys. So no matter what's going on in this 4th house energy, your home, your family, your roots of who you are, it's about second chances. And if there's any sort of confusion, seek the guidance of somebody wise or a professional that, you know, will know how to help you what you need. And lastly, we have the Sphinx over here with this 5th house. Choose your words carefully. So perhaps in the dating arena, if you've been really burned, you have just been incredibly picky. Like the smallest little thing is enough for you to be like, okay, nope, not you, next. You know, like you're just looking for fault in every single person. Because, you know, when we're healing from a breakup, it hurts. Others of you, this is about that creative ability and talent. And with the Sphinx coming out over there, and the Ace of Swords here with this 10th house, you guys, by a series of very unlikely and unexpected events, this creative ability and talent can really take off, Aquarius. It really can. If you currently own your own business and you're making any changes to it, give it your all, and where you're stuck or confused, seek guidance from a professional, from somebody who will know, somebody who can help you. Okay? I don't know. The reconnection of relationships is like the biggest thing I'm seeing here in Aquarius's reading with that Death card and that Six of Cups. So overall outcome for Aquarius is attachment, letting go, restriction, fear. Okay, so to me, Aquarius, this is the representation of big time changes happening through this eclipse season for you guys. Those of you who have been holding on to relationships that are not serving you, like they just take advantage of you and use you and, you know, make you feel bad, hold you down, any sort of relationship where you feel obligated to maintain it for whatever reason, it's like all of that is going to end. False, superficial, anything like that, whether it's how you feel about somebody or they feel that way about you, like all of that's dissolving. There's no superficiality to the connections here, okay? No, this is significant people. And so if you've been entertaining a lot of superficial relationships because we have been afraid, even just superficial friendships or whatever, it's like you're gonna just naturally be like, no, I don't want this anymore. Anything that's holding Aquarius down, attacking your self-esteem, your self-worth, getting in the way of your creative flow, you're not having it. This eclipse energy is just gonna have you be like with the pair of scissors, cutting it all off. I mean, look at all the swords energy for Aquarius. You're going to be cutting it all off and out of your life. It's just like, because the eclipse eclipses things out, right? So new things can shift in. You think of the kaleidoscope. It's this shift in the kaleidoscope and the picture changes before your eyes. It shifts, right? There's a new image that comes into focus, and what was previously there is now gone. That's all about what this card is saying is, you know, whatever's been holding Aquarius down is about to be eclipsed out. And if it's, you know, a relationship that you have been not wanting to let go of, but it's very harmful to you, the universe will eclipse that out if it's no longer part of your life journey, of your, you know, plan ahead. But I also do see this reconnection. So again, think back to January and February. What was going on in your life back then? Who did you have any sort of falling out with? If you had any sort of falling out with, as far as career goes, what sort of ideas were you thinking about? Which way did you want to go? Which direction did you want your career to go in? Were you thinking about returning to school for something to expand your education? Were you thinking of getting into a completely different field, or, you know, going to be with a new company? And if those were your thoughts back then, but nothing's changed, well, here comes eclipse season, and what needs to go is just going to be swept away. Okay, it's just a very natural thing. Like I shared with my story, when I finally told the ex, you know, 3.5 years is way too long to be breaking up, you know, after he was gone, I was like, why the hell did I ever do that, man? This hurts. But it was like a force stronger than me, and now I'm very grateful for what I did. Like, that was definitely a negative attachment that needed to leave my life. And so what are your negative attachments when it comes to 10th, 4th, and 5th house energies? Because that's what's going to be taken away, all right? And what's coming in its place is new ideas, strength and wisdom, new opportunities in your career sector. There's relationships that are going to come back together, especially family or friends that you consider family, your kids or your parents. All right, there's reconnection, second chances. This could be, you know, a lover as well, just because it is the fourth house, but this is more about family energy. This could be, again, where we're having a second chance to buy a home or to relocate to another state or another country. And then, you know, here in the fifth house, what sort of patterns and thoughts and emotions do we need to do away with? What keeps us held back from intimacy, from romance, from passion, you know, from all of those energies? What is this Ten of Swords? What does that represent for you personally? Okay, because the Sphinx right here, this is the great enigma. Choose your words carefully. It's like once you connect the dots, you will have the passage through, and this will no longer be an issue. Okay, so Aquarius, those are your messages for the solar eclipse, for the solar and lunar eclipse season that we are about to head into. And this should be very powerful and profound for Aquarius, as this is your full moon. It's the longest total lunar eclipse to take place in the last century. Okay, so any family issues that have to be healed, it's gonna happen. Like, that's just what eclipses do. So Aquarius, those are your messages. I'm wishing you guys all the very best. Take care.